It's very important to go on an inner journey, but it's as possible to get lost on an inner journey as it is in an outward journey in the world. So what we try to do in the Courage to Teach retreats is to create a form of community in which people can go inward. They can go inward through reflecting on poetry or stories from some of the great spiritual traditions that raise critical questions about our lives. They can go inward in silence. They can go inward through journaling, walks in the woods, all the simple ways that human beings have of becoming more reflective, of taking time to simply listen to their hearts, to let the world get quiet and hear what they can hear from in here. But it's very important to come out of that solitude into a community that's willing to hear what you think you have learned. Not to judge it, not to tell you whether it's right or wrong, but to hear it in a way that allows you to hear yourself more deeply. One of the things that I always say to retreat groups is that we have a strange conceit in Western culture, which is that just because we've said something, we think we know what we've said. And the most important things we say, especially under these reflective conditions, are often things that come from what I call the inner teacher. I don't alone call it that. I'm a Quaker, and in the Quaker tradition there's a 400-year history of affirming that every human being has an inner teacher. When the inner teacher speaks through my mouth, it may take me years to understand what I've just said and what its implications are for my life. But that process is going to be greatly helped along by having a community of people who are willing to hear me into speech, who are willing to let me say whatever is truly on my heart and mind, not to judge it, not to fix it, not to advise me, not to set me straight, but simply to let me hear myself at a deeper level. And that's a very special form of community. I think it's a community that most people have hardly any experience with, if at all, because it's a community that engages you, but it doesn't engage you with fixes or saves. It engages you with, first of all, listening, and then with honest, open questions. What did you mean when you said that? Can you say more about that? Is what you're talking about connected in some way to other areas of your life? This is the kind of community we try to create in our retreat groups, and I think it's a kind of community that teachers find astonishing in its positive consequences for their lives.